I think he said he hasn't heard from the realtor in months that listed his home. What a shame on our industry that people are left in the dark without knowing what's happening with the sale of their property. And welcome back to the first podcast of February. Guess what? Next month is going to be March, and that means springtime. Are you ready for spring?
I am ready for spring because it's closer to summer.
Oh, yeah. I have a question for you. What happens in February that we look forward to?
Well, the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl 59.
59.
Who are you rooting for? I know it's not Kansas City.
Yeah. I don't really care who wins, but I think the whole country's not rooting for Kansas City. I think everybody's mad that Kansas City is going for their third consecutive Super Bowl win. Never happened in history.
Yeah.
Historical.
It's kind of cool, but then at the same time, you want to see someone else win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So some of the 49ers were asked who they want to win. Some respond with the Eagles. Some say, I hope they both lose.
I don't know if that happens. Anyway, we're moving on. We're covering topics from our book, and it's probably on your screen. You can see it. If you didn't get a copy, you can get a digital copy. If you want a hard copy, let us know. We can send you one, drop one by. But today's topic, Jamil, is strategic communication. One of the biggest complaints in real estate from clients about realtors is the communication. What do you think?
I think you hit it right on the head because realtors are known for not answering their phone.
Yeah. So I was knocking on the door maybe about early December, and a gentleman that came out, I think he said he hasn't heard from the realtor in months that listed his home. What a shame on our industry that people are left in the dark without knowing what's happening with the sale of their property.
Absolutely. It's the biggest sale of your life, probably.
That's right.
The biggest purchase or sale of your life, and you should be available for your clients.
So one of the first questions, how often will your team communicate with me? Who on your team is my main contact person during each phase? How often do you communicate, Jamil?
We often as we can, any major updates, and we definitely check in once a week at least. But as you hit milestones in the transaction, there's an update. Typically what we do is we start a group text with the sellers or the buyers, and we just communicate consistently and constantly. And we're always available for a call, but we try to do text so everyone's on the same page. If there's a problem, we get on the call, obviously. But once the transaction is kind of rolling, there's not much that you need to worry about. But you get updated constantly.
And one of the things that we do, we have a sheet that the buyer or the seller has that tells them all the milestones. So they're never really in the dark. They know what's happening. We have staging on this day, or we're doing photography, or we have open house, or
There's
we
a
have broker
timeline.
tour. There's a timeline that is given in the upfront, so that way you're never left in the dark. You know what's happening.
Yeah, and then we send the timeline by text message, and then as the property goes into escrow and is pending, there's another timeline. When's the closing, and when is the contingency dates, and so on and so forth. And I think just being there, being present, available for your clients is the most important thing, and it's very emotional for people.
It is.
Buying or selling.
Right.
This is a huge asset, $2, $3, $4 million properties, and you're, selling it, and you need someone there for you, walking you every step of the way. That's why you're there.
Right. Here's the next question. How can I reach you if I have an urgent question? Who do I call if I can't reach you? That's why I believe what we do really helps is we start communication with a group text. So if you do have a question, you can easily put it in a text. Either me or Jamil gets it, and right away we can answer and alleviate any emotional distress that a seller is having or a buyer is having. I think it's very important to have that.
Sometimes you have a question and you could just put it in a text message, and sometimes we both answer. So, we're always there for our clients. Any questions, they can either text, call, email. We are there. We usually respond within 1 hour to a phone call, and text is we respond within minutes.
Right. Third question, what types of checklist or consultation do you give to help me get my home ready for the market?
Well, we have tips and checklists for preparing your house for sale, staging your home, what to pack, what not to pack, stuff like that.
Yeah, basically when we meet with a seller, we go through the whole house and we go through room by room and tell the seller what we would like to see to get them top dollar, from the kitchen to the family room to the bedrooms. So we hold your hand basically through the whole process, front yard, backyard. It's something that you don't do on your own. We walk with you all the way from the first step to the last step. Anything you want to add?
Oh, that's about it.
All right. Question 4. How often will I hear from you about your marketing efforts and the results we're getting? How much detail do you provide?
So usually if the house is priced right, it'll sell in the first week.
Right.
If it has not sold in the first week, you will see our marketing numbers every week. We'll update you on where your property is being marketed, what are the views, what are the clicks, how many agents have called and asked for disclosures, because we can track the interest level. And we have software that's tracking all of that information.
Right.
We're just not coming up with it. It's actually actual numbers from each system. So we can update you on that once a week, and that way you're in the know.
Number 5, how often will you give me feedback about what potential buyers and their agents are saying about the property? I know that's one of the things that we do every time there's a showing. We ask for feedback, and we're pretty honest in giving the feedback back to the seller, so that way they understand we're committed to honesty and transparency through the whole process.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if we keep hearing the same thing over and over again, we're definitely going to let you know. That way we can fix it if it's fixable.
For example, one time we had a house with no bedroom downstairs. Everybody loved the house, but they wished there was a bedroom. So we let you know some of the things that people are saying, whether good or not so good. At least you're in the know. Number 6, how will you stay in touch during negotiations?
By phone.
By phone, by email. Usually when we receive offers, we have our platform that we invite you on, and we go through all the offers that come in or the offer that came in. And so that way you see everything. And as we communicate with the buyer's agent, or if we're representing the buyer, the seller agent, we keep you informed all the way through. That way there's no dark spots.
Well, we're going to go through and show you all the offers, and the software will summarize, and then we'll strategize with you on getting you top dollar and counter offering the top 3, top 5 offers that we get.
That's right. And number 7, how hands-on is your team during the contingency period? How do they coordinate with the escrow and title company? How often will you give me an update?
Well, that's 3 questions right there.
I know, but
So-
hey, it's what people want to hear.
How hands-on is your team during the contingency period?
Right.
Well, we're waiting for that date. That's like a drop-dead date that we are ready to fire some emails. Even prior to that, a
Right.
couple of days, we're gathering information before checking with them. On that date, it should be done. Usually, 99% of the time, it's done prior to that date. And, because we are all over it, we're waiting.
Well, what we're saying, we mitigate any surprises. We are there before the deadline dates, holding everybody in the process accountable. I think that's what makes a smooth transaction.
That's correct. And then the second question of that, how do they coordinate with the escrow and title companies? Well, right away, we coordinate the escrow and title because we need to get them involved within, even prior to listing the house, we open escrow so that we can get the title report. And then once we get the contract signed, that's all that is sent, and we coordinate escrow with our transaction coordinators, with the agents, and everyone's getting like emails update from escrow.
Well, we have a transaction coordinator that works on the file, and this coordinator will keep every T crossed and every I dotted. That way we don't miss anything from the transaction or staying up to date on all the paperwork. So it makes things a lot more smoother. She communicates with the buyers, sellers, and with all the agents involved. So there's someone holding everybody accountable. That's our transaction coordinator.
So how often will you give me updates?
Well, we give updates as soon as we need to, but definitely we're always in communication. One thing that we always love is to stay in communication with the buyer or the seller, because we know it's an emotional time and there's a lot of emotions and sometimes questions pop up. So you want to be able to text them and say, hey, I'm thinking about this. Can you give me an answer? So we're always there to make sure that any fears you have are alleviated and any questions you have there are answered. That's what keeps you sane through the whole process.
That's right.
Like we always give the picture of the airplane. We're pilots. We're flying this transaction. We flew enough of these to know how to land you. And if we hit turbulence, we know how to mitigate through it to land you safely on the other side.
That's right. So call us for a flight.
Yes. Book your flight and let us know where you want to go.
And we're here to answer any questions.
Yes.
And if you want a free consultation with us, we can come to your house, let you know our thoughts, and then we can go from there.
Well, thank you for stopping by and listening to this podcast. If you have any questions, please comment below. Please like our Facebook page, Instagram, and all the other social media, and follow us for more content like this. Thank you again, and have a great week.
Have a great week and share our content if you can. Thank you.